I'm an entertainer.
Since when?
Not a historian, linguist, intellectual, or an authority on anything but goofs and gaffs. If I get any information wrong and you just take my word for it, then that's literally your own fault for trusting a random trans guy with a microphone.
I'm not a reliable source, just saying.
Big bullshit.
Subscribe to me. I'm trying to build an army to go up against the TERFs.
Give my language, shut the fuck up.
You'll get your uniform in the mail. Just let us know your shoe size down in the comments. Follow me on Twitter too. That's where I'll let you know when we'll strike. So, we're back at it again with the LGBTQ+ agenda. The sky is blue, what else is new? Not the gays, we've been here for a while actually. Some of us in hiding, to be fair, but we've very much been here.
Thank you for your input, James Charles.
The funny thing is that people know this. They know that there's LGBTQ+ people in history who were either closeted or didn't have the language that we have today to describe what they were. Though it's difficult to assign modern labels to someone who's been dead for hundreds of years, I think it's fair to say that someone might not have been 𝗟𝘂𝗶𝗁𝗄𝗏 after reading their journals and realize that, hey, maybe these two men were a little more than just very good friends.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
And yet, when people speculate that a famous author or whatever might have been a little fruity, people get very, very defensive.
Homophobes say,
I'm not homophobic, but I just don't see why you need to project your sexuality onto this author that died over 200 years ago. If you're not homophobic, then it shouldn't be a big deal to acknowledge that someone might have been.
That's my opinion!
You can't say it with 100% certainty, but as a member of the LGBTQ+, I love analyzing an author's work from a queer lens after finding out that they had what historians would refer to as a very good friend. That's 𝗧𝘄𝗶𝗁𝗄𝗏, by the way. The author I'm going to be talking about in this video is none other than Hans Christian Andersen, or better known as H.C. Andersen here in Scandinavia. He's a Danish author from Copenhagen that lived during the 19th century. He has written quite a few well-known fairy tales that has modern adaptations, a few lesser known that I and every Swedish and Danish kid were told growing up. I must say, even as a kid, when I still didn't look too deep into the hidden meaning of things, there was something that very much resonated with me. From what I can remember, a lot of his stories were quite sad in a way that isn't all in your face. Instead, it just hits too close to home, you know. He came for the family and the family dug straight for their throats. You might already be familiar with the Ugly Duckling. If you're not, then just look in the mirror. Just kidding, bestie. Okay, seriously though, you should look it up. It's not my job to educate you or whatever. If you know, you know, and then you'd know it's quite obvious an allegory, and it's a story a lot of us could relate to. Life isn't easy. It's not easy for anybody.
Even Elon Musk was bullied, but he kinda deserved it.
A lot of us have at one point or another felt like an outcast, whether it was because of your appearance or if you were just fucking weird, a weirdo. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, it just means that you're around people who don't appreciate your beauty. The Ugly Duckling didn't have some kind of glow up, cause he wasn't ugly to begin with. He just didn't fit the duck's beauty standard, cause he wasn't a damn duck! He was a swan! He was a swan, y'all! The same way I used to be the annoying Naruto kid everyone found too weird to hang out with, and now I'm monetizing that weirdness on YouTube where like-minded people find me. If you ever feel like a freak weirdo and look up to me in any way for some reason,
first of all, why?
just remember that once I go outside, I'm a huge loser, just like you, I just have some scraps of that online autistic trans clout. It's a thing apparently, and I have it.
Yeah, baby! That's what it's all about! Woo!
One of his less obvious allegories in his fairy tales is as the title suggests, I think, unless I've changed it. None other than The Little Mermaid. Yes, Andersen wrote the original Little Mermaid. And like a lot of modern adaptations of old stories, Disney changed a few things. I can't remember when I last watched The Little Mermaid, so blame Google if I get the details wrong. But the original was a bit darker, just a tiny bit darker, as per usual. You know the drill. Funny enough, in the original, the sea witch wasn't actually portrayed as a villain, but since it's Disney, they take the inspiration for their villain from queer culture, of course. Bruh. Blame the gays, I guess. Just blame the gays, even in their own stories. Ursula was based on none other than the drag queen Divine. You might know her from the movie Pink Flamingos, or the clip that I like to use in my videos. You know the one. Kill everyone now! Condone first-degree murder! Advocate cannibalism! Eat shit! Queen shit, queen shit.
Filth are my politics. Filth is my life. Take whatever you like. Yes.
Her only crime was being a witch. She was willing to work with the Little Mermaid though, and unlike the movies, she wouldn't gain anything from it, and she wouldn't even try to sabotage the mermaid's attempt at love. All the sea witch ever did wrong was give a 50-year-old a potion that would take away her voice, make it feel like she's constantly walking on shards of glass, and kill her if the prince marries another woman. Sorry, I meant that she will turn into sea foam at dawn the day after he marries someone else, technically. I have to be very careful with my wording, I don't want to get sued by the sea witch. I've got enough on my plate already, but yeah, nothing wrong nor irresponsible about giving a 15-year-old a potion that could potentially kill her. Just admit that you hate women, you're misogynistic, you just hate to see an independent woman. Whatever. The Little Mermaid drinks the potion, gets her legs, suffers from chronic pain only to get brutally friend-zoned by the prince. You think you've got it bad? You think you deserve to get your dick sucked because you held the door open for a girl? Okay, the Little Mermaid gave up everything for a prince and got nothing in return. And what did you do? You went on Reddit to whine like a little bitch. When the prince so selfishly marries another woman, which again would kill the mermaid, the sea witch was kind enough to give her an out. She's brought a dagger and was promised that if she kills the prince and let his blood drip on her feet, all her suffering will end. Her mermaid tail will return and she gets to live out the rest of her life with her family as if nothing happened. Bada bing, bada boom. Easy peasy, she just gotta kill the love of her life.
We've all been there.
However, the Little Mermaid could not bring herself to do that. And the rest is history.
Big bullshit.
Now you might be sitting here thinking,
Miles, what the f*** does this have to do with being gay?
and I'll tell you, you ignorant slut.
Individual who has a lot of intercourse, most likely with more than one partner, but there's nothing wrong with that.
You see, H.C. Andersen as a young boy was a little peculiar. Some would describe him as effeminate and flamboyant, perhaps a little, limp hand gesture. Actually, that has nothing to do with his sexuality. I just read that somewhere and it hasn't left my mind. I know plenty of effeminate straight men. Nothing wrong with that. Andersen did, however, have a friend. A close friend, as historians might say.
Bruh.
Someone Andersen quite fancied, who happened to be a man by the name of Edward Cullen. Wait, isn't that the name of a vampire from Twilight? Edward. Oh, it's Cullen. Bruh. Awkward.
Child. Anyway, so
As pointed out in Richter Norton's My Dearest Boy, Love Letters Through the Century, Andersen had sent letters to Cullen stating, "Our friendship is like the mysteries. It should not be analyzed. That's ironic, and I long for you as though you were a beautiful Calabrian girl. Of course, this isn't all that the theory of his sexuality is based upon. There's more just for clarification, so shut it please. Now, Colin isn't the only sus relationship that H.C. Andersen has had with a man, though some speculate that he might have died a virgin. It is that with Edward Cullen that is of interest to us, because it's what probably inspired The Little Mermaid. You see, Andersen's feelings were unrequited, and his dearest Colin got married to a woman.
Bella Swan, the actual ugly duckling.
You know, like a fucking
Individual who has a lot of intercourse.
I'm sorry, I'm sure Colin was a nice guy. The story was written around the time that Andersen found out about Colin's engagement. So, assuming that The Little Mermaid really was based on his own experience, it's quite sad when you think about it for too long. The mermaid fell in love with someone from another world, and she was willing to give up everything she has ever known just so she could be with this one prince. Although Andersen didn't literally lose his voice to be with someone he loved, he was a gay man, allegedly, and therefore couldn't speak of his love for Colin. When you're in the closet, you have to be very careful with what you say, you have to micromanage everything, censor your speech, and in a sense that could feel like losing your voice. Like I previously mentioned, in the original story, the mermaid also felt like she was walking on glass shards at all times. She's in constant pain and discomfort, but it was something she was willing to put up with to be with someone she loved, even though it didn't guarantee love in return. Whether you're trans, gay, bi, lesbian, non-binary, ace, pan, or God knows what, I think we all felt that. I felt that. Did you? Did you feel that? Because I did. Being in the closet for whatever reason can be painful and mentally draining. We all just want to be able to unapologetically be ourselves. It hurts not being able to openly talk about the people you've liked or who you are or want to be out of shame. It hurts loving someone you know couldn't love you back. At the same time, you can't even talk about it, just like The Little Mermaid. I'm not quite sure where the killing parts fits into all of this. I didn't get the memo. Do we kill straight people? Did y'all forget to add me to the group chat? Or I'm down. I'm down for killing a straight person. For legal purposes, that's a joke. I didn't mean that. I wouldn't kill a straight person. I wouldn't kill anyone for that matter. At the end of the day, the mermaid couldn't bring herself to kill the prince to save herself, 'cause she truly loved him. She went into this knowing she would die if he married another woman, and she still drank the potion just to be with him. And maybe that's what it felt like to Andersen. He stuck around someone he knew he didn't have a chance with, knowing he would inevitably end up with a woman. He could have saved himself the heartbreak, but his stupid little gay heart just didn't want to let go of Colin, allegedly. It should also be noted that Andersen sent Colin the original story, which some might say is the ultimate confession of your love, though I find it much more hilarious to view it as massive shade. But that's just me though. Feel free to tell me your interpretation in the comments. Can you relate to The Little Mermaid? Do you have a favorite Disney villain? What's your thoughts on queer-coded villains? The only downside I can think of it is that I find it very tempting to just turn into the villain, but that's just me. Remember to like this video, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Bye!